7 takeaways from Cleveland Browns OTAs on Wednesday, from the quarterback competition to rookies making plays. Here is everything that stood out during the second day of Cleveland Browns organized team activities. The march to the 2025 season is officially underway, with the Cleveland Browns conducting OTAs this week. Wednesday provided the first day of the voluntary sessions that were open to the media to take in everything unfolding with the roster at the moment. A four-candidate competition for the starting quarterback job is at the forefront of Cleveland's work here in May and will continue to be throughout the summer. Still, there were plenty of other things to observe during the hour-plus-long session. Here are 7 takeaways from the first open day of Browns OTAs. 1. Simultaneous 7-on-7s. Kevin Stefanski has been adamant that nobody should be reading into rep counts and rotations with the quarterbacks. Naturally, everyone will do it anyway. Wednesday saw Kenny Pickett as the first man up in 7-on-7 work. Pickett and Joe Flacco then went on to handle the majority of reps during 2 different 11-on-11 sessions. To maximize the reps between the 4 QBs, Cleveland actually ran 2 separate sessions of 7-on-7s. Pickett and Flacco were the featured signal callers for one. Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders oversaw the other. While Sanders had a nice day overall, tossing a couple of touchdowns during red zone work, he was the one quarterback who didn't take any 11-on-11 snaps on the day. Gabriel took just a handful of snaps during those portions of practice. It feels pretty clear right now that Sanders is the last man up within the group. That said, without being at practice every day, it's hard to know if the rep share is similar day after day, or if Stefanski is telling the truth when he says they're constantly rotating the quartet of QBs. After plenty of speculation over who is the leader in the clubhouse at quarterback, it was pretty clear on Wednesday that Joe Flacco has at least a slight advantage given his familiarity with the system. It makes sense, really. Flacco is the one QB who doesn't have much of a learning curve. He clearly knows Stefanski's offense and how to execute it at a high level. It's what you'd expect from the guy who captained the same unit to a playoff berth in 2023. He looked the most comfortable under center of all the quarterbacks, and aside from a near interception during the first round of 11-on-11 work, he seemed to have the strongest day. The one Jones always stands out on a football field because he towers over everyone, but on Wednesday he stood out in a different way. Finally, Jones seems to be fully healthy, and as a result, he looks agile and effective. Holding down the left tackle spot, Jones showed off a really smooth drop step and flashed some nice lateral movement trying to get out in front of run plays. This time last year, Jones was trying to play through a surgically repaired knee as he ramped up for the season. This year, he's on his way back from a broken fibula, but the ailment is fully healed. It's only 1 day of practice in helmets, but seeing Jones move around out there and hold his own in a position he's still adjusting to is a great sign. One of the most surprising absences from Wednesday's OTA was embattled wide receiver Dionate Johnson. It paved the way for return specialist DeAndre Carter to step into the slot wide receiver spot. Carter ran the majority of reps with top pass catchers Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. Names like Jamari Thrash, Michael Woods-Dew, and David Bell were some of the next names up in the rotation. Speaking of Tillman, he looks very comfortable in his first action since Week 12 of last season, when he suffered a concussion that ultimately cost him the rest of the season. The Browns are expecting him to take some big strides this year. He's off to a good start. Let's start with 5 overall pick Mason Graham, who was constantly beating his blockers at the point of attack. His get-off was noticeable during rookie minicamp, but seeing it against actual competition lining up in front of him is fun to watch. He also made one of the most notable plays of the day when he batted down a Gabriel pass at the line of scrimmage during 11-on-11s after he got some push into the backfield. It was a sign of things to come for the Michigan product. Former first-round pick Joe Tryon-Shoyinka stood out as well. At one point during the first round of 11-on-11s, he got into the backfield on 3 or 4 plays in a row. His aggressiveness actually got him in a bit of trouble after he collided with Pickett on one play, which is an obvious no-no. Harold Fannin Jr. looks the part of a pass-catching tight end that the Browns drafted him to be. He made a handful of nice plays at various points of practice, capping it off with a touchdown catch from Joe Flacco during Red Zone's 7-on-7s. It's no secret Fannin Jr. is considered undersized for the position, and he'll have time to put on some more muscle. For now, at least, he's already flashing his prowess as a route runner and pass catcher and figures to become a valuable weapon for whichever quarterback earns the starting job. As Stefanski always likes to remind everyone, this portion of the offseason program remains voluntary for players. The most notable names missing from Wednesday's practice included Myles Garrett, Greg Newsome II, Joel Bitonio, Jack Conklin, David Njoku, and the aforementioned Johnson. Garrett's absence is likely to be one of the more controversial of the group, given the fact that he signed a massive contract extension this offseason. Garrett is in Japan based on posts from his Instagram story. Johnson being Mahia seems more problematic, considering he is seemingly on his last chance to save his NFL career. OTAs are also built around offensive work most prominently. Johnson has been captured as a participant during other portions of the Browns' off-season program, though.